It's Deb with Findsofthencfoothills. It is Friday afternoon. I am on my way home from work. I spent the day in Charlotte. I am so glad to be almost out of Charlotte. Fun to visit, not fun to stay there. But on my way in this morning, I had two experiences on the road, and I thought, what a great subject to talk about. My experiences of living in the city for many, many years, and now my experiences from living in the country. We moved from Charlotte 2 years ago up to the foothills of the mountains, and it truly is like night and day. It's been wonderful. So I thought I would talk to you about my experiences of living in the city and then living in the country. So, living in Charlotte, the pros of living in Charlotte are very few. You have access to fine dining. You have access to luxury shopping. South Park Mall is a high-end mall. You can go in, pick yourself out a Louis Vuitton purse, some high-end clothing, jewelry, and have yourself a ball. You can go into a nice restaurant and have a nice dinner, nice ambiance, and spend $200. But I will tell you, on both of those things, you can have a nice dining experience anywhere. You don't have to go to a fancy restaurant, dress up, and spend $200 to have a really nice dining experience. You don't. And you really don't need all of the luxury items that you feel like you need when you live in the city. So the cons of living in the city. And I made some notes. If you see me looking down, it's been a heck of a day. I got squirrel syndrome. I can't stay focused. So I made some notes to keep me on task. It's been a day. The cons. And there are a lot of cons, unfortunately, for me living in the city. Number one, taxes are ridiculous. You're taxed to death. You're taxed to breathe. I truly believe that you have a tax just to breathe the air. It's ridiculous, the high taxes living in the city. Traffic. There's no place you can go in Charlotte that you're not going to sit in traffic. A 10-mile drive may take you an hour and a half. It's ridiculous. And along with the traffic are rude drivers. Everyone's in a hurry. Everyone's rude. Everybody's ready to just take each other out. This morning, as soon as I get into Charlotte, I'm having a good morning, nice and quiet. As soon as I get into Charlotte, I got cut off twice for no reason. And now I've learned that it's a two-step process when you get cut off. You get cut off and then you get flipped off. It's a two-step process. Cut off, flipped off. Nobody told me the new process. So I guess they flip you off before you can flip them off. I guess that's the way it goes now. But I don't do that anymore. I don't react because we both don't need to look like idiots. You can look like an idiot all by yourself. I'm not going to join you. And number two, you're not going to get my blood pressure up. Me reacting and then sharing in the road rage and flipping each other off and outdoing each other, it don't do anything but get my blood pressure up. So I just let you go on, flip me off, and go on about your business. So the traffic, the rude drivers, the cost of living is very high in Charlotte. Everything's higher. Gas, groceries, just anything and everything. It's higher. You can literally leave the city, and as you're going out of the city, at every gas station you pass, it just gets lower and lower and lower. It is absolutely crazy that you pay so much to live in Charlotte. The last thing I can think of living in Charlotte is the crime. The crime is a real thing in Charlotte. You really need to be aware of your surroundings at all times. I would get home immediately, shut the garage door, lock my car, go inside, lock myself inside. You don't open the door for anybody that comes to your door that you don't know. Sometimes it's not even safe to open the door for people you do know. It's a very scary place for people. You can get yourself in a situation really quick. So you have to be aware of your surroundings at all times. Be prepared to react or act. Another thing that goes along with crime, if you are going to live in a big city, there are areas that you do not need to venture into. You don't need to accidentally come across. There are areas in Charlotte you don't need to go to in the middle of the day. It's scary and it's bad. So you need to know where those areas are so that you don't accidentally find yourself somewhere where you could be in danger. There are areas off of I-85, there are exits that I will not get off just to get gas to get back on the interstate. I will not. I will travel to the next because it's just too dangerous. So the crime in Charlotte is a real thing. Even now living in the country, I still lock my car, keep the garage door down, lock the house. It's just a habit. As soon as I walk in the door, the first thing I do is lock. It's a habit, and it's a habit I probably will never get out of. So living in the country, the pros are, it's a calmer pace. The pace is calm. I'm not going to say slow. It's just calmer. People actually hold the door open for you to come through behind them. That's shocking to me that people still do that. That people don't walk around in stores on their phone on speaker. People will say hey as they pass you in the grocery store. They don't even know you. They'll say, hey, how are you today? It's very nice. It's a very nice change from living in the city. Taxes, oh my gosh, our first tax bill we got living in the country, I thought it was an error. I thought they had made a mistake. That was a very nice surprise too. So living in the country is very nice. The cons, and it's really not even a con. It takes time to fit in. The majority of these people have grown up together. They know each other. You come in from the outside, especially from the city, and they have to learn to trust you. You've got to show that you are a good person. You are an honorable person. So you have to be patient. Don't try to fit in too quick. And one thing that we learned early on is when you talk to someone, don't say, well, we just moved here from Charlotte. They automatically raise an eyebrow. What you doing here? What's your business here? So we don't do that anymore. One thing about living in the country is these people already know about you. They've done their homework. They know who you are, where you work. They know if you're Republican or Democrat, Baptist or Catholic. They already know all about you because they want to know who's living in their town. So you don't have to explain yourself. Just be a good person and build trust with the community. We have found that by going to the same grocery store, going to the same restaurants, people are getting to know our face and to learn us, and that helps a lot too. So I love it. We love it. We love it. Another, I'm not going to say it's a con. I think it's a pro of living. I'm sorry, the sun is like blasting me. I can't see. Is that you don't have a need for luxury items. You don't have a need to carry Louis Vuitton purses or wear expensive jewelry, because it's just not the culture when you live in the country. People just don't spend money like that. So you can come across as being very flashy if you're tooling around in your Louis Vuitton Neverfull. You can appear to be flashy. I can't tell you the last time that I've carried a high-end purse. Even now, just going to Charlotte today, which was an opportunity for me to, pull out one of my purses, I didn't. It's just, I've just adapted to the culture of just really being low-key, and I look at it now as being flashy. Where I was living in Charlotte, it was just normal. Now I feel like it's flashy. So I've adapted to my life living in the country. It's a good life. It's a good life. This is where I'll be until I die. I'll never go back to the city. I'll never. They say never say never. I'll never go back to the city and live. I don't even like to go back when I have to go to work. Like I said, this morning, I got flipped off 2 times. They flipped me off. Two different people flipped me off. Flipped me off. So anyway, that's my chit chat for today. I'd love to know if you live in the city, or if you live in the country, or if you've lived in both. And which one do you like best? I know people who live downtown Charlotte, and they love it. They love living downtown, where they are in the middle of everything. I would hate it. I'd be miserable. I would be absolutely miserable. But some people, that's just, everybody's different. Everybody's different. There are people that would hate to live where I live. They would be miserable. That's why we're one big world, one big diverse and inclusive world. We're all different, and we learn to love and live together. So I hope you're having a good day. Again, it's Friday. I saw on the news that our president is up in Nashville, visiting those folks there. We desperately need help for them. So I hope that he can do some things pretty quickly to get these folks help that have suffered long enough. And anything that our government can do to step in and help is greatly appreciated, as well as our fellow citizens in California. These folks need help. So with that, I'm going to say, before I'm just completely blinded by the sun and I really need to put my sunglasses on, because these are 64-year-old eyes, and they're not as good as they used to be. Be good to yourself, because if you're not good to yourself, how can you be good to anybody else? Have a good weekend.